What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Your Situation Matters. As always, I am your host, Zach Cronin, and today we're going to be talking about the Chicago Bulls, but more specifically, Coby White. Before I go ahead and get into this video, if at any point this video makes you feel some type of way, you may think that something I say is funny, insightful, whatever, be sure to drop a like on it, subscribe as well if you want to see more content just like this. I'm just trying to play the YouTube game. If you are to do any of that, it means the world to me. You will soon become my favorite person. Yes, every individual person that likes, comments, and subscribes will become my favorite person. Now, with that, let's go ahead and get into the video. The Chicago Bulls, most notably, are one of the worst teams in the NBA. They currently sit with an 11-7 record, just not really looking like they're going to be doing much of anything this year. However, there has been a slight resurgence in their performance over the last couple of weeks. They are 6-3 in their last 9 games. They could very well be like 9-0 or 8-1. They had a crushing loss to the Milwaukee Bucks. They had another crushing loss at the hands of the Miami Heat. All of this as well is coinciding with the absence of Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, those were going to be the two guys who led Chicago to any playoff success, any potential championship as well. And that has not been the case. As it stands right now, the Bulls are actually stuck in limbo when it comes to trying to blow it up and rebuild or continue to try to push for, a deep playoff run. The latter of which I think is a highly unlikely. I think at this rate, the organization is best just trying to offload Zach and DeMar and really anybody else that isn't Patrick Williams or Coby White. I don't know if I'd be saying that before this season because Coby White has seen his career progress in reverse. Ever since coming into the league, there has been consistent drops in his production. He started off averaging about 13 points a game, went up to 15, down to 12.7, down again to 9.7. This year, however, he's up to 17 and a half points, shooting 45% from the field, 42% from three, averaging a career high in assists as well. He looks like a brand new player. He looks like the guy that we were expecting out of UNC when the Bulls drafted him back in, what was it, 2018, 2019, back when they drafted him in 2019. Now, over these 9 games that Zach LaVine has not been present, Coby White has continued to produce, and he's producing at probably the best rate of his career. I don't have like all of his individual statistics offhand, and nor am I like a staunch Bulls watcher, but over these 9 games, averaging 25 points, damn near 7 assists, and shooting a shade under 50% from the field, I don't think at any point has he replicated those numbers because those numbers are exceedingly difficult for any player to reach. In the absence of Zach LaVine, obviously there is more room for Coby White to get more shots, and his inconsistency in the lineup, his up in the air nature with him being a part of the rotation certainly attributed to some of those down seasons because clearly it's not talent. I don't think talent is really an issue with White. He's a big guard. He can get downhill. He's recently expanded his range considerably. This kid can get buckets. I don't know if he is the guy for the Chicago Bulls going forward, but I believe that he is a guy. Now, as I already mentioned, LaVine is out. There is going to be more space for White to operate within the offense. However, the Bulls' offense as a whole looks substantially different in the absence of Zach LaVine. The ball is moving around more. They're averaging like 20 or 30 more passes per game within the absence of Zach LaVine. I believe for the season as a whole, they're at 292. Over the games that he's missed, they're at like 315 or something. They're averaging more assists. The offense just looks more efficient, and it is more efficient. LaVine does have a tendency to be a little bit of a ball stopper on offense, and you remove him from the equation, you allow DeMar DeRozan to make plays, and as we know, he's become an incredibly gifted playmaker, at least relative to where he was early in his career. Coby White has shown some of that as well. But I believe the thing that has really done more for White outside of just being given more opportunity is that he looks more confident. I went back and I watched his performance against the Bucks in which he dropped 33. You're looking at pull-up threes in semi-transition. He beat Giannis off the dribble. He attacked Brook Lopez off the dribble and finished over him multiple times. This guy has reached a new level offensively. You can't really quantify how confident a player is. However, there are changes in their game that will lead you to believe that they're feeling more comfortable on the court. I found it to be pull up threes. The pull up three is a very low percentage shot for a large portion of players in the NBA, especially if, it's early in the shot clock, if the offense hasn't had a chance to set itself yet. There are really only a handful of guys that you want taking pull up threes. I'm looking like Steph, KD, regardless of how accurate or not they are from three, it's not something that you want to be a huge piece of your offense, especially when you do have other pieces and other players who can create. Coby White is averaging 2.1 pull up 3-point attempts this year. Last season, that was at 0.8. The season before that, 1.2. It really is a night and day difference with his game, and a very welcomed one at that. The discussion that we're going to have is less about Coby White and more about Coby White's long-term prospects with this team. The Bulls are going to be one of the most talked about teams when it comes to the trade deadline because they're not going to contend for a title. They might not even make the play-in tournament. They do, however, have a couple of solid young pieces, namely Coby White, should they decide to keep him, and Patrick Williams. The trade deadline rolls around. If I am working in the Bulls front office, I am looking to move off of Zach LaVine. I'm looking to move off of DeMar DeRozan. I am looking to move off of Nikola Vucevic. It is rebuild time, ladies and gentlemen. You have Coby White, who is only 23 years old. Only 23 years old. You have Patrick Williams, who is only 22 years old. You have Ayo Dosunmu, who is only 24 years old. You can build a team around Patrick Williams and around Coby White, especially if you find somebody who plays similarly to Lonzo Ball. Now, a lot of the issues that the Bulls have had over the last couple of years does come back to Lonzo Ball's health, and you can see in games when he played the way he moved the ball in transition, the way he was able to rebound and outlet, and the types of passes that he was able to make brings a very difficult to guard dynamic to a Bulls offense that has three guys who can get you 20 at any point in time, and now Coby White, who is a potential fourth guy who could get you 20 while being able to pull up from 25. If they find someone like Lonzo Ball, the future for this team looks drastically different. You combine that with any other potential picks that they can get off of Vucevic, DeMar, all those guys. I just don't know what direction they're going to go in. The Bulls front office can go either way. Is it possible that they sell high on Coby White? Yeah. I would not be surprised if Coby White was the only one dealt during the trade deadline. If they feel that they can package him and whomever else for a guy that can increase their championship aspirations, I think they're going to do it. But I can't guarantee it because when you have a front office that is so erratic and so over the place, you're lying if you say you're going to know what the Bulls are going to do. I don't even think Bulls fans would say that they know what this front office is going to do. I will just go ahead and close this video out by saying that it's very rare that there is an NBA player that is bad. Okay, maybe it's not like very rare, but it's rarer than not. A lot of the times, guys just need to be put in the right situation, and guys need to be given the opportunity to produce. Coby White, regardless of how shitty he looked over the last couple of seasons, it was never an indictment of him as a player. It was more of, as I had already mentioned, the inconsistencies of his spot in the rotation, him being in and out of the starting lineup. He came off the bench as a rookie, was a huge piece of the starting lineup in year 2, became more of a six man in years 3 and 4, and now he's back in the starting lineup again. And his minutes have been all over the place. Only now is he seeing over 30 minutes consistently, which means that he is a huge piece of the Bulls offense. And of course, you're going to want him to be a huge piece of your offense if he's able to help you win games. I just think that his resurgence or his revitalization, whatever you want to call it, is not going to do the Bulls good, is not going to do the Bulls any good this season. However, I think Coby White, actually, I believe that Coby White has earned a spot within this organization for the next couple of years. You also combine that with the fact that if he is able to give you 25 and 7, he's only owed 12 or 13 million over the next couple of years. That could be one of the best bargains in the league. 25 and 7, those are all-star caliber numbers. Obviously, his numbers as a whole are not all-star caliber, but this stretch, if this is an indication of what his ceiling is, I think you hold on to that, especially considering that DeMar is 33 or 34 and his best years are behind him, even though he's still a very good player. Zach LaVine is 28, 29, I believe, and it hasn't worked. You've been trying to make this team work for the last couple of years. It's just not. So again, if I were in the front office for the Chicago Bulls, I'm looking at Coby White, I'm looking at Patrick Williams as the future, and I'm beginning to shift off of the present and focusing on them and how I could potentially extract the most out of their careers. With that, I'm going to close this video out. As I mentioned at the top, like, subscribe, comment, do all that fun stuff. I'll catch you all on the next one.